So yesterday we bought this car. Today I'm broke down on the side of the road.
$3,500. That's how much I just spent on tires for my car. $3,500. Are you kidding me?
You know what? If the industry wants 50-year house loans and 15-year car loans and 5-year cell phone loans, then I think we need a law that says that every manufacturer is responsible for that product working and lasting 100% for the entire length of the finance period.
Modern cars are just getting ridiculous, man. You can spend 50, 60, 70, get something with cameras everywhere, screens everywhere, heated everything, computers controlling half the car. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, it's on a recovery truck. Some stupid little part has failed. Cars break down. Nothing's new here. Whatever. But then I found this video saying something a bit differently. Apparently manufacturers already know how roughly something is expected to last. And apparently in some other cases, making them last much longer wouldn't even cost that much. Alright, now you got my attention.
One component is designed to fail at exactly 120,000 kilometers. Another has a thermoplastic part that degrades after 7 years regardless of mileage. And the most disgusting revelation? They could make these parts last 3 times longer for just €20 more per car.
Well, basically, they're saying that these parts aren't just casually dying around. Somebody already worked out roughly how long they need them to survive. Which immediately makes me ask, survive for who? The warranty? The first owner? You that is gonna buy it after a couple of years? Because I feel like all these 3 people have a very different idea of long enough. So let's keep going.
BMW engineers call it strategic component lifecycle. Mercedes has optimized durability targets. Volkswagen literally calculates the economic repair threshold to maximize dealer service revenue. These aren't conspiracy theories. These are documented strategies from leaked internal presentations and supplier conferences.
I mean, obviously, they know roughly how long parts should last. And in this case, they're building the actual car. They make a part, test it, change it. If it's all shit, why do you even keep it there? Test it again and eventually go, yeah, fair enough, that'll do, man. Now crazy in here. What's more interesting is what happens when they have 2 options. One lasts long enough and the other one lasts much longer but costs you another €20, let's just say. For us, €20 or dollars, whatever, is nothing. But let's say you're making those cars by the millions. Suddenly, that's $20 million. And now imagine somebody asking, why exactly are we spending $20 million making this thing last longer than we need it to? That's when it gets mind-numbing.
The dead cars sell new cars, and that's exactly what they want. Let's start with the smoking gun. Documented proof that European manufacturers design cars to fail after warranty.
Because this economic life thing makes so much perfect sense. But your car doesn't actually need to be dead. If your car is worth $7,000 and you get a $5,000 repair bill, well, it's basically dead. Could you repair it? Maybe. But would most people do? Fuck no. Nobody's gonna have that amount of money to chuck. Why not buy another car? So the car itself still might have years left. The numbers just don't make sense anymore. They don't add up. Remember that, because we're going to keep coming back to it. Alright?
BMW targets 150,000 kilometers durability for non-critical components, not because they can't last longer, because lasting longer hurts new car sales.
Non-critical. I like that. I mean, look at that piece of shit. Everything is non-critical unit until it breaks your car. Then you're suddenly very interested in that $40 piece of shit buried somewhere behind the engine. And speaking of knowing roughly how long things will last, Mercedes actually had something pretty close to an actual counter.
2003 Mercedes SL 500. And if you guys are familiar with that car, it has something called the SBC brake function or whatever, a mechanism. And
which has this braking system called SBC, which basically they made the brakes a bit more smarter. There's a hydraulic pump, they have electronics in it, computer control and all that fancy shit. And the car is actually logging how much of that hydraulic unit has been used. So yes, there genuinely is a system in the car going, you've got this much life left. So at least now you know. Now, obviously, for Mercedes, wasn't sitting there going fantastic. At exactly 150,001 kilometers, just fuck off the brakes, tell them to piss off. It's a braking system. And all of this thing, if the pump has limited life, you probably want the car keeping an eye on it. But the point is, Mercedes knew it had a limited life. And of course they did. They built that thing. So this idea that manufacturers have no clue how long their own parts are expected to survive, come on, man. They got a much better idea than those poor bastards that are gonna buy the car 10 years later. But anyways, BMW.
The N47 diesel engine's timing chain, positioned at the back where it's impossible to service, was specifically mentioned as having appropriate lifestyle-matching vehicle replacement cycles. It fails between 100,000 to 150,000 kilometers, costs 3,000 to 5,000 euros to fix, and often totals the car.
Look where the timing chain is. At the back of the fucking engine. Now, I'm sure that's a very clever reason for doing that. Maybe some space. Maybe the noise was too much. Packaging, whatever, you name it. But when this thing needs you to change it, well, good luck. Because now half the job is just getting into it. And the timing chain problems aren't exactly some things that you ignore. If the timing chain goes badly enough, you can turn, oh, this thing needs a timing chain, into, I need a new engine, like very quickly. So whatever BMW put it there deliberately to make repair expensive, I have no idea. But whoever has to fix this later definitely gets fucked. But anyway,
Volkswagen's internal lifetime planning document.
Volkswagen joined the chat, of course.
SG transmission is their masterpiece of planned obsolescence. The mechatronics unit uses a circuit board mounted directly above the hot transmission fluid. Heat destroys electronics. Every engineer knows this.
And those DSG mechatronics problems are so real because basically a DSG in a gearbox has decided you shouldn't have to change your gear anymore. So now you've got a normal gearbox, plus 2 clutches, plus hydraulic, plus electronics, plus a computer controlling all of it. When it works, it's excelente. Fast changes, nice to drive, everybody is happy. But when those mechatronics parts go well, those actual gears inside the box can be completely fine and the car still doesn't want to move. That's the comical part, if you may. The gearbox isn't necessarily broken. It's just the thing is telling the gearbox what to do when it's broken. I'll tell you what to do. Call the recovery truck. Simple as.
When questioned, VW claimed it was for packaging efficiency. The truth? Moving it would add 10 years of life for 30 euros in heat shield.
And now that you see this DSG everywhere, everything gets combined together. One housing has 5 things inside of it. One module controls 10 things, which is great when the car, again, is new. The car is new, perfect. Then 10 years later, one tiny part inside this big expensive thing and the whole thing goes bad. And the answer is, yeah, just replace the whole thing. Can I replace the $30 bit inside? Maybe. Are you going to sell me the $1,500 assembly instead? Absolutely. But then again, maybe that's how modern cars need to be built. But I'm slowly starting to see why these repair bills get stupid so quickly. Because these things that failed can be so tiny, and the thing that you have to replace isn't though.
Mercedes quality target matrices from 2020 explicitly state the components should achieve market-appropriate durability. Their OM651 diesel engine's intake manifold swirl flaps are plastic in an environment reaching 200 degrees Celsius.
Okay, small problem here. From what I could find, the intake manifold is plastic. The actual swirl flaps aren't just plastic flaps sitting there melting like it makes a sound. So they've made one bit sexier for the video, of course. The system still has a lot of problems. Carbon buildup, actuators, soot, linkage, whatever, you name it. There's enough real shit to complain about. We don't need to make extra shit up.
Every German manufacturer now uses plastic guides that disintegrate between 100,000 to 150,000 kilometers, causing catastrophic engine failure. They know plastic can't handle the heat and stress. They use it anyways because it saves 15 euros and guarantees future failure.
Well, same things here. Plastic doesn't automatically mean cheap garbage. Loads of engines use it. The simple question is, does this fucking thing last? And some of these BMW engines, clearly people had problems. That's what I care about. The little guide itself might cost nothing. But if it fails badly enough, well, the engine loses timing. Well, now that little 30 euros part has introduced you to a 4,000 euro problem. That's just fantastic.
Audi's entire E8 888 engine family uses plastic guides and tensioners. Forums are filled with failures at 80,000 to 120,000 kilometers. The sound starts as a rattle on cold starts. That's your warning. Ignore it for even 1,000 kilometers more, and you're looking at full engine replacement.
And this is when owning certain cars becomes like we're in a circus. You buy the Audi because you like it. 6 months later, you're online at 2 in the morning learning about timing tensioners. What the hell is that? People know what sounds to listen for nowadays. Which version is good? Which one sounds bad? What they have changed something? And nobody knows any of this when the car is new. 10 years later, everybody is buying one exactly thing that they're supposed to be scared of. And that's going to tell you something else.
Issued a goodwill campaign, not a recall, covering repairs only if complained loud enough and had full dealer history.
And now you get the magical word, goodwill. Which basically means maybe we'll pay for some of it. How old is the car? How many miles, kilometers does it have? When did you service it? How did you get the history? And listen, that's a fair point. Fair play. I get it. I understand it. If you never maintain the car and the engine explodes, well, the manufacturer should have been paying for your stupidity though. Fair enough. But it also means that keeping your car inside the dealer network can suddenly become very useful if something expensive goes wrong. So they sell you your car, they service the car. Then if the car breaks, whether they help can partially depend on whether you kept servicing with them. I'm not just saying anything, I'm just looking at it.
Metal guides exist. Japanese manufacturers use them. They last the engine's lifetime. Independent suppliers make metal replacement guides for these engines that cost maybe 50 euros more than plastic. But manufacturers stick with plastic because endless repairs are more profitable.
And now apparently the car doesn't even need to break anymore. We've advanced from that stage. This one is just beautiful.
BMW charges 18 euros per month for heated seats that are already installed. Mercedes wants 500 euros a year for increased acceleration that's just a software lock.
The heated seats are already there. The heating element is inside this chair. The wiring is there. Everything is there. You already paid for your car. But your ass probably needs another extra subscription. BMW eventually dropped the heated seat subscription because everybody, quite reasonably, told them to fuck off pretty much. But the bigger idea is still everywhere. Apps, navigation, connected devices, performance upgrades, software unlock, subscriptions. And from the manufacturer side, I understand why they love it. Why make money from you just once when you already bought the car? Now the car keeps making you more money. That's just lovely.
The navigation system you paid 2,000 euros for becomes partially useless because BMW decided recurring revenue matters more than customer satisfaction. Volkswagen's WeConnect is worse. Features like remote climate control, parking position, and even some safety notifications require subscriptions after the trial period.
And fair enough. Some of this is fair. If I'm paying for live traffic, mobile data, or something that actually needs servers to run, that's fine. That costs a bit of money to save you the hassle. But charging me to run something that's already fitted in my car? What? That's a different story, and I think it's going to get even funnier when these cars get old. What's going to happen in 20 years? Today you buy an old car, and you just have to worry about finding some parts. In 20 years, just maybe, you also need an app that doesn't exist anymore, or a server that they shut down. What you gonna do over there? Or what if you need to software update your car that nobody supports? Maybe the engine still works perfectly. The car just can't talk to whatever computer it wants to talk to. That's gonna be fun.
Requires software refreshes costing 300 to 500 euros at dealers. Coincidentally, these refreshes become necessary when other warranty work is needed. The infotainment slows down.
Of course, repairs already work like this. You replace a module, and sometimes that's not enough. Now, the whole car needs software, and somebody can tell you, yes, this is our new module. Stop having a meltdown. Coding, programming, paving. And some of that is obviously there for security reasons. Fair enough. But the end result is still pretty convenient. The part can physically fit the car, and you still need somebody with the right software before it actually works. Again, I'm not saying put your aluminum foil on and say it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying if I owned the software, maybe I would be a bit more happier, don't you think? Since I own the car. But okay, I think we went a bit too far. Let's come back a bit and step backwards for something much simpler. Rust. No, I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about this rust.
Frames and suspension mounting points now use cheaper coatings that fail after 5 to 7 years. Mercedes W204 C-Class subframes are rotting across Europe.
I'm not going to look underneath every rusty Mercedes and scream, "Plan obsolescence, oh my god." You know that salt exists in nature, bad weather, cars get old, it's normal. But some of these cars had enough subframe corrosion problems that manufacturers actually extended their coverage.
Failing safety inspections are 8 to 10 years old. Replacement cost? €2,500 plus labour. Mercedes solution? They offer partial coverage if you complain, but only within 10 years. After that, you're told it's normal wear.
That's the part where I started paying attention, because we're talking about a subframe, something that's underneath. You normally want that part to remain a solid piece of metal. Engine could be perfect. Gearbox could be fantastic. Interior still looks nice. Then somebody puts the thing on a lift and says, yeah, it's fucked, whatever. Can it be repaired? Of course it can. Does it make sense to spend more money? There we go. It's the same question again.
Switch from mechanical to electric water pumps is a masterclass in engineered failure. Mechanical pumps lasted the engine's lifetime, 300,000 kilometers or more. Electric pumps fail at 60,000 to 100,000 kilometers.
Electric water pumps actually make a lot more sense. The car can control the pump better instead of just spinning it with the engine all the time. Fine. But we also taken normal water pumps and added electronics and an electric motor to it, so it's smarter. It also has more shit inside that can break, so that's the deal again.
Provide improved efficiency. The 1% fuel saving isn't worth the guaranteed failure.
Oh yeah, and 1% better efficiency sounds a bit stupid when you're looking at just one car. If you look at across hundreds of cars, well, probably that matters a lot. If my water pump has just died and the engine is overheating, I could not give less of a fuck about that 1% though.
Volkswagen's EA AAA engines took it further. Their pumps fail so regularly that aftermarket companies make upgraded versions. The OEM pump has plastic components in the hot zone that warp and leak. Replacement requires timing chain removal on some models, turning a €200 part into a €1,500 job. VW dealers stock these pumps like service items because they fail so often.
Then you combine the pump, thermostat, what's there, some housing, sensor, and whatever it's in that nice little unit. Great, that looks very neat. The one section though that starts leaking and now apparently we're replacing the whole fucking thing is the same story again. Everything becomes one clever little package until one little thing inside that package shits itself.
Sourced engines have pumps that fail catastrophically. The pump's thermostat housing is integrated plastic that cracks from heat cycling. When it fails, it dumps coolant instantly. Drivers report engines overheating with no warning, causing head gasket failure or worse.
You see, this claim is the manufacturers deliberately hide the warning so the repairs get worse. Well, I don't know about that, because that sounds a bit too perfect for me. An electrical water pump dying and overheating your engine is already enough. We don't need some BMW employee sitting there turning your whining lights off, really?
Lifetime transmission fluid is the biggest lie in automotive history.
Whoa, now this one, lifetime transmission fluid. Whose lifetime? Because unless somebody has invented immortal oil, which I wasn't looking for, I don't understand what was that supposed to mean. Oil gets hot. It becomes dirty and things wear down. But if you tell somebody lifetime fluid, wow, obviously they're never gonna touch it. Why would they?
BF themselves recommend fluid changes at 80,000 to 100,000 kilometers. But BMW removed the dipstick, sealed the fill port, and tells customers it's maintenance free. Result?
Okay, and this is where the first owner and the third owner have completely different lives. First owner gets a new car. He doesn't do any servicing. It's lovely. He keeps it for 4 years and then gets rid of it. That's done. Second owner does whatever. Then some poor guy does the thing with 150,000 kilometers and asks, when did anyone change the gearbox oil? Nobody knows. Because I tell you when, never. We're sitting there waiting for the lifetime, and when the gearbox dies, well, hey. I suppose the fluid did last for the last lifetime of the gearbox, so that's technically correct, which is very useful. And that's why I just change fluids. It's boring, but whatever. Oil is cheaper than an engine, gearbox oil is cheaper than a gearbox, and coolant is 10 times cheaper than cooking the whole thing all together. People will spend thousands modifying a car, and then suddenly become Warren Buffett when you tell them to spend a couple of hundreds just to maintain it. Do whatever you want, man. It's your car at the end of the day. After all of this, man, I think the BMW has a second room where somebody goes, right, this engine dies at 150,000 kilometers. Nah, that's too easy. Cars don't work like that. One guy can drive the same car for 300,000 kilometers and have no major problem. Another guy can just magically destroy it before the first proper service. But I also do think the manufacturers need some secret self-destruct timer. They only need that to decide what long enough means. If one part lasts enough, maybe that costs you $20. And another version lasts much longer but costs you $40. For us, who cares? It's another $20. Again, if you're building millions of cars, that's $20 million. So obviously somebody has to ask, why are we spending another $20 million? And who exactly benefits from it? The first owner probably gets rid of the car after a few years. Warranty ends, finance ends, car gets sold. That's it. By the time that stronger part actually makes a difference, the car might be with owner number 3. So I don't even think that the interesting question is, are they deliberately building cars to break? I think the better question is, who are they building them to last for? Because if the answer is the first owner, the warranty, the finance period, fair game. That suddenly makes a lot of sense. And that's why you should choose these modern BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, whatever. They look perfectly fine. Sitting on a recovery truck. Paint is fine, interior is fine, half the car is probably fine. One stupid thing somewhere has just made the repair cost more and nobody wants to spend that kind of money. Maybe that's planned obsolescence. Maybe that's just modern engineering with accountants. Or maybe people expect cars to last much longer than manufacturers ever designed them to. I don't know. But after looking at all of this, long enough for who? You tell me.